Namaste. Welcome back to yet another show of Leadership Through Communication. Today, we have two area directors from Toastmasters in Nepal. We have Toastmaster Prashant Shrestha, who is the Marketing and Communication Manager at Smart Pani. And the other guest has his own business, and you will know later why. He runs a business regarding pharmaceuticals. Welcome to the show, Toastmaster Prashant and Toastmaster Ankit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Moon.
So, Toastmaster Prashant, you are the Area Director of Area A4, and Toastmaster Ankit, you are the Area Director of Area A3. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about how you got into Toastmasters? Toastmaster Prashant, I earlier introduced you as a Marketing and Communication Manager at Smart Pani. What do you really do? What does that have anything to do with communication or leadership?
Well, communication is one stream which remains required in every domain, whether it's marketing, even if you're in accounting, or even if you're in a profession of engineering, communication plays a vital role. In the position that I'm at, I'm directly responsible to communicate with our clients, stakeholders, our partners. It requires a bit of explaining, it requires a bit of describing. So in that sense, whatever I learn in Toastmasters gets directly implemented into the things that I do at work.
What is it that you do?
What we do as a company is we provide sustainable water management solution like rainwater harvesting, grey water recharging, there's groundwater filtration, and these are a bit technical terms when it comes to general individuals. And being able to present these technical terms into a language where they can understand and give the benefits, communicate clearly in a tangible form where you give numbers and you also give them a speculation as to what amount of water is going to waste and how you can use it to fulfill your needs, requires you to have an effective communication. It requires you to listen as well. So these are the elements that you directly learn through Toastmasters, and this gets implemented in the work that I do at Smart Pani.
So you're into a business that requires a little explaining because water management is something pretty new in the country, and
Indeed.
Toastmasters has helped you in conveying the message to
Exactly.
the clients, I guess. And you, Toastmaster Ankit, you're into business. You're handling a business that your parents and your brother were also doing. You being a Marwari yourself, that's why you're into business. And that's why I wanted to say that why you were into business. So how does communication and leadership run into this?
It's basically, when I started my work life, I would say, I did not start it with a business. I worked for someone else, and then I realized there are few things that you have to look into. And communication and leadership both played a very vital role. And when I came into my own business, my own family business, that was the time where I felt when you communicate with your clients or customers, it does not have to be a direct communication. You have to tell them, you have to persuade them on what products they would like and what kind of products I can give them. So the communication role played in there. And when you talk about leadership, you have to delegate tasks to different people at different places. And in business, you have to go through different situations and different paths. So at my place, at my workplace, there are few individuals which I have to handle through. And when I give them work, I make sure that I delegate them tasks according to the responsibility that they have been given. And in Toastmasters, that's what we learn, communication and leadership. And that's what I have learned from Toastmasters, which is being helped to me in my business as well.
So you're saying that a Marwari doesn't always have everything in their blood, but you can learn something from Toastmasters and take it to running a business successfully.
Most of the Marwadis, I would say, would think, what is Toastmasters? Why would you go to a Toastmasters club and join there? You are not getting money out of it. But then what I felt and what I have observed through myself is, once you join these organizations, that is where you learn the art of communication and leadership. And for me, this place has given me a lot. It's been almost 8 years now that I have been a part of Toastmasters, and from what I was and what I am in my personal life and in my work life, it has played a huge difference.
Yeah, that's good to learn. How about you, Toastmaster Prashant? How did you really get into Toastmasters journey, and how that has helped you? How was your leadership journey within Toastmasters itself?
Well, it's interesting. I wanted to do journalism. My brother-in-law suggested, why don't you try Toastmasters? At that point of time, I did not know Toastmaster existed. So I went through Google, I found a club, I wrote to the individual, and it happens to be our division director, Toastmaster Suman. So he asked me to join a club, and it was not the one that I intended to join. It was Himalaya Toastmasters. So I started my journey 5 years ago. I am currently the immediate past president of the club. I've held the responsibility of the president not for a year, but for 2 years. So during that moment, I've realized to work with a team, you have to be very empathetical. You have to understand the needs of others and sometimes let go your own opinion. And these are the things that you'd not learn otherwise. Having these experience has tremendously helped me in my leadership journey at Smart Pani as well. It's a dynamics where competent individuals work. And when there are competent individuals, there will be competent thoughts coming through. And being able to give the benefit of doubt to others' thought and also put your opinion in a way in which does not hold their opinion in the opposite sense, but also complements their opinion, is something that has helped me tremendously at the work that I do at Smart Pani. And having that empathetical approach towards others' need. You're working with also technical teams. There are plumbers who implement your work, so you're able to communicate with them in a language where you give feedback and positive encouragement. You support their work. As a result, they are willing to do your work and have that encouragement, motivation within themselves. So you're able to communicate that through your abilities that you learned directly from Toastmasters.
So empathy is something that you've learned as a leader, and how to communicate and work in a team and delegate also, I understand. Yes. So both of you have been presidents of Himalaya Toastmasters Club. You have moved on and taken up other important leadership roles now. I hear that there is some training that's coming up. Would you like to share some light on that?
Yes, there is a training called Toastmasters Leadership Institute, and this training involves two parts. One is the judges training program, and the other part is the club officers training program. So the judges training program is basically for the judges to mark the contestants. So in Toastmasters we have different contests at different time frames. For example, we had Citation 2019, in which we had the humorous speech contest and evaluation contest. For that we needed judges. So we need to train those judges, and accordingly we choose judges in the contest which happens in club level, in area level, and then in the division level. The second part is the club officers training, in which the executive committee of the clubs, like the sergeant at arms, treasurer, secretary, vice president membership, so on, and the president, each one of them have their own responsibilities, and they have to delegate those tasks accordingly. So for that also we have a certain training module that the Toastmasters International itself has prescribed, and we follow that. And we have seasoned trainers, senior Toastmasters who help us train those individuals to become better in their leadership and hone their leadership skills, so that as they move on, being a current leader and future leaders, it's going to help them in becoming more proficient in their own work.
So you just mentioned some words which our non-Toastmaster viewers will not understand. Toastmaster Prashant, would you like to elucidate on those words as treasurer, sergeant at arms, VP education, and all that?
Going back to what I said earlier, the position of a president, there are several other leadership positions as well, 7 to be precise. And TLI, which stands for Toastmaster Leadership Institution, is an opportunity for these 7 members to get a first-hand grip of what their responsibility entails. There are members who have already taken these roles, but they might have questions. They might come up with situations which they have not dealt before, and the way in which they still have reservations as to the right approach to deal with such situations. As Toastmasters is an amalgamation of different individuals from different backgrounds, we may have doctors, engineers, architects, entrepreneurs coming into one domain and thinking about a way forward. So there might be difference of opinion. How do you settle those difference of opinions? And it at the core level comes down to the responsibilities of executive team. So they also utilize this opportunity to find out what path they're going to take and how they're going to move forward. Also deal with the challenges that comes with leadership and learn from fellow leaders as well. One is the training part. Second is the part where you meet fellow leaders and you learn from common experiences of individuals who are taking the same responsibility as you are taking. There are, like I mentioned, role of a president, which acts as the chief executing officer. Toastmaster Ankit can perhaps explain more about the Vice President of Education, the role that I had not personally taken.
Would you like to share about Vice President of Education?
So the Vice President of Education looks after the quality of the club. So let's say if a member is giving his or his speech, does he or she have a mentor? Does he or she seeks help when it's needed? Or let's say a member is not attending the club meetings. So the Vice President Education makes sure that the member attends the meeting and also takes up different roles in a meeting and also gives the speeches that they are supposed to give. And that way the Vice President Education works. And moving on, as he is rightly pointed out with the Vice President membership and other roles. So Vice President members role is to bring in members, to do membership campaigns in the clubs. For example, we have guests coming in many different meetings. At times there have been instances where we have 20 guests. So what is that we can do to bring them as a member? So guests turning into members is the responsibility of the Vice President membership. And moving on to the Vice President public relation, it's about, as it says, the Vice President public relation, as it says, is about doing the PR that it is, and you have to go through different social media channels where you as an individual or a group make sure that the reach of Toastmasters is not limited to one platform but others. Being this show as itself, I would say, is one of those PR campaigns for Toastmasters. And
so can I say, like, a Vice President Education is somewhat like the quality controller, like Toastmaster Prashant had earlier pointed out, that the president is like the CEO. Then the CEO does not have the time to look after every aspect of the work at office. So you have somebody who controls the quality, that's the VP Education. And somebody who looks after sales and marketing would be VP Membership. And somebody who looks after PR would be the VP PR as such. And what are the other roles? What was their responsibilities?
There are other roles as well, but if I have to draw one important learning from the role of Vice President of Membership, it directly corresponds to the role that I'm undertaking at my current workplace. As a Vice President of Membership, your job is to convert guests into members. How do you do that? By disseminating information in the most simplest form. And you are approaching individuals who you haven't met before. So you require to make your introduction, make the other person feel comfortable, and communicate in a language in which he or she feels comfortable. That is the same thing we do when it comes to meeting our potential clients. Many of them we have not met before. We come from different backgrounds, so understanding their needs and putting them at comfort becomes your priority before you go through the point of pitching about Toastmasters or talking about what you do at work. Building a bit of rapport, understanding their needs, and see if whatever you have to offer, either it's Toastmasters or the services of Smart Money, you bring in that element only after you identify that you can help certain individuals And this is how one of the ways in which I draw the learning from Toastmasters and implement at my workplace. And I think all the other individuals in various fields are also doing the same thing.
Okay. So yeah, there is a parallel between what you learn and do
Indeed.
in Toastmasters and the real life work that you really need to do. Yeah. So would you say this is the place where you experiment and you learn and then implement the learnings into your real life?
Exactly. I think when I say this on behalf of Toastmaster Ankit and myself, as we belong to the same club, and we have gone through lots of ups and downs in terms of leadership challenges. The challenges that we might not have taken always the right step, but we have always introspected, and with each other's feedback and mentorship, I consider Toastmaster Ankit as my mentor as well. So we've always gone back and realized the things that we could have done differently. However, if that same opportunity was lost in a workplace, then there's an opportunity cost to that as well. So you get to take those leadership decisions, and through trial and errors, learn from those leadership decisions. And when you have a concrete understanding of things, you can implement those things at your workplace as well. So it's a perfect leadership opportunity
And
to start
learning
with. Yes.
opportunity. So what's the role of the secretary, treasurer, sergeant at arms? Would you like to say something more about that?
So, as treasurer, it's almost as the word says, you have to collect money. So, whenever a member joins in, or if there is a guest fee at a club meeting, it's the job of the treasurer to see to it that the Toastmasters International membership fee is paid accordingly. So now in Toastmasters there are 2 cycles that we pay our membership fee in. One is the September end and the other is the March end. So in these 2 cycles we pay the membership fee of Toastmasters, and for the new member, if I have to explain what the membership fee is like, which we pay to the Toastmasters International, is $110, and for the members who have continued and are in the second year, they only have to pay the $90 fee. And according to the venue and the location which the club have, the membership fee depends on that. And moving on to the secretary, I would say of all the executive committee roles, this is one role which entails and is for everybody. I mean, if I have to take some report as a president, I go to secretary. If the vice president education has to take some report, again goes to the secretary. So the secretary plays a very important part in the executive committee role. I, being the secretary of Himalaya Toastmasters, 2 years, I would say I learned a lot from what a role of a secretary is, because frankly speaking, I did not know how to write a minute of a meeting, and I was mentored to write a minute. So I knew that I had to write minutes in a certain way, and so is the job of the secretary. And finally, the sergeant at arms, as a word, it may seem like it's a word from an army, but then sergeant at arms is someone who would open the meeting, who would set up the hall and make sure that the hall is in the right condition, we have everything in place, and he or she welcomes the guest. So overall, if you see, each role in an executive committee have their own responsibility and how they have to do it. They do it in a way which I explain, and each one have their own way of doing it.
So if I am to understand well, the treasurer is the finance manager. The secretary obviously is like the secretary of an office, or the manager, office manager. And the sergeant at arms is somebody who is the administrator, who handles all the things that are supposed to be there for the club meeting, all the equipment that is required, all the supplementary materials that is required. So that those 3 roles also translate very directly to your daily work.
Indeed, they do.
Yeah. So during this TLI, all the members will learn all these aspects, or do all members have to take up these roles? What is this?
I think, if I may add to this, these roles does not only correspond in club levels. what they do is they transcend, like you mentioned, each organization has a finance head or account head. Each organization needs marketing. Each organization needs to bring in customers, and each organization needs a management team. There needs to be accountability, and these elements are indeed the responsibility of club officers as well. This is what they also learn by taking the leadership roles. The opportunity that TLI brings is not limited to the club officers. It provides a platform where individuals who are striving to take that role. For instance, if you just graduated from a college and you are yet to join or you are yet to start your professional endeavor, then you can become a Toastmasters, and through Toastmasters take those leaderships, get the first-hand experience of how things are. You can also ask questions and learn from the individuals who have been there, done that, and have a better idea of how you should be able to move forward. So it presents this opportunity to all the members.
So that's what you're saying. Members who've been there and done that are the mentors that you were mentioning earlier. So mentorship is very integral to Toastmasters journey. Would one of you like to say something about that?
Yes, I would say as soon as you join a Toastmasters club, mentorship plays a very important role, and because you are very new to what a Toastmasters meeting is like or what the different roles are like, and it is the mentor that guides you and supports you at this time. So for example, if I have to give my icebreaker speech or talk about myself, I would seek mentorship. Or let's say if I have to take a certain role in a club meeting, as a member I would not know what that role requires me to do, and for that again I go to my mentor and seek help on how a certain role is done. So overall, it's not only in Toastmasters, I would say, outside Toastmasters as well, mentorship plays a very important role, and if you seek help, if you seek support, that is where you get to know what is going right, what is going wrong, and you get the right direction. You are able to go to the right path, and in Toastmasters we are here to make mistakes, and those mistakes I would say are corrected by our mentors. So mentorship, yes, plays a very important role.
So mentorship going across the Toastmasters journey, and during TLI we'll have them coming in as facilitators, training us to take up the roles of executive committee.
Exactly.
So this Toastmasters Leadership Institute, this TLI is being held when?
TLI is happening on 1st of February 2020. The venue is Nami College at Chorpati. My fellow area director, Toastmaster Ankit, is entirely leading the management of that event, and he has a team who is currently helping him do that. So if you look at it from a leadership perspective, the venue, the event itself is has to be organized by someone, and they have to take that responsibility. They can, an individual cannot be everywhere. So in this case, Toastmaster Ankit has recruited individuals from different areas. So while doing so, he also communicated personally with me and shared that we are taking help in certain aspect from members of your club areas, and this also fosters collaboration between the clubs. So he's also, in a way, as proficient as he is when it comes to helping others and getting help from others. There's a unique leadership trait that he has been able to hone through Toastmasters, and TLI is being managed under his leadership, perhaps for the same reason.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankit and Toastmaster Prashant, for coming to the show today. So TLI is being held on February 1st at Nami College. We had Toastmaster Prashant and Toastmaster Ankit, two area directors from Area A4 and Area A3 from Toastmasters International, Division A of District 41, coming and talking to us about this great learning opportunity which is open to all Toastmasters across the country or visiting Toastmasters. You're all welcome to join the meeting and the training for that. Thank you for having come here to the show, and thank you everybody for having watched the show. Namaste.